Welcome to the lecture, guys. In this lecture we are going to cover A to Z about vectors itself. So if you guys are having any kind of problem in these kind of situation or in these kind of problems I've enlisted on the screen, then from this lecture onwards you won't be having any kind of this problem, because in this lecture we are going to discover various new things about vectors. So we are not going into the deep mathematical details of the vector, but the important aspects only which we need in the physics itself. So guys, in this lecture we are going to cover all these topics I've enlisted on the screen. So each of the following block is a separate module. So 1 to 3 is first module, 4 and 5 is the second module, 6 to 8 are the third module, 9 to 11 belongs to fourth module, and 12 to 13 belong to the last and the fifth module. So video will be in this according manner only. It is requested to take notes, guys, because eventually they will be beneficial for you for your whole physics and mathematics. Okay, so let us start our discussion with the basic definition of what's a scalar and what's a vector. Scalar are all those quantities which are only having a magnitude and the appropriate units associated with them, whereas vector are those quantities which are having magnitude plus the units plus a specified direction associated with them. For example, let us talk about mass. Mass of this particular orange guy over here, let us say that the mass is nothing but 4 kg. So here you can see that there is a magnitude and there is a unit. But have we talked about direction? No, because it's not relevant over here. Okay, so henceforth I can say that mass is a good example of scalar quantity. Let us talk about an example of vector quantity. Let us take the velocity example over here. So for example, this orange guy over here is proceeding with the velocity of 10 meter per second in the left hand side direction. Okay, so I can say that, okay, this velocity guy which I am talking about is having a magnitude, is having a unit, and it's having direction as well. So it's a vector quantity. Now let us talk about the direction. There are 4 directions: north, south, east and west, guys. Okay, now the most important part is, what does the statement north of east does mean? Okay, so for example, this is a bunny and I can say that this carrot belongs to this bunny. So the reference is this bunny. This bunny become the reference. Okay, so north of east mean that you are taking east as your reference and you are proceeding toward north. Okay, so for example, if you are saying that 45 degree north of east, then you are saying that I am proceeding toward north, taking my east as a reference at an angle of 45 degree from the eastward side. Okay, so that's the statement north of east mean. Now let us represent a vector. So I will be talking about the mathematical as well as the geometrical representation over here. So mathematically, you can represent a vector by a alphabetical variable which you assign to your vector, and on the top of that with an arrow. Okay, now you can represent your vector geometrically as follow: by a single arrow who's having a tail, a head and appropriate length. So this length defines the magnitude of your vector. This length defines the magnitude of the vector, guys. For example, force is a great example of vector, and I am saying that my force is 5 Newton. Okay, so what I am saying over here is that the length or the magnitude of my vector is nothing but it is 5, and the appropriate length unit I am assigning over here. For example, I am saying that my scale is translating as follow, that I am deciding that my 1 Newton correspond to 1 centimeter on my basic centimeter scale. So the length of the following arrow will be nothing but 5 centimeter, because I'm saying that, okay, according to me, according to my reference, 1 Newton I am assigning to as 1 centimeter. Now let me tell you that you can represent your vector otherwise by bold letter also. So for example, here I'm writing it as a vector. I can same write it as by a bold letter, a bold. Okay, A bold, A bold. Now let us talk about the graphical representation of a vector. Okay, so you guys are given with a graph sheet during your examination. So let us graphically represent our vector. Now you want to represent a force of 5 Newton which is acting at a 45-degree angle north of east. Okay, so how you will be representing it? So this 5 Newton is clearly telling you that the magnitude of my vector is 5 Newton itself. So length will be appropriately chosen by it. Okay, so first you have to do is you have to choose a coordinate system for yourself. Okay, for example, here I'm using the old coordinate system, which is north, east, south, west, the direction system itself, because I'm concerned about the direction north of east. You can assign that north to your y-axis and east to your x-axis also. You can do it if you know about the Cartesian coordinate system, but because I haven't discussed about the Cartesian coordinate system over here, I am relied on the old direction coordinate system only. Okay, I'm relied on the old direction system only. So I am saying that 5 Newton force. So now you should be appropriately scaling this 5 Newton force. So in your graph sheet you are given a square box of 1 by 1 centimeter itself. So here I'm saying that, okay, because I'm given with a square box of 1 by 1 centimeter, I'm saying that let us have my 1 Newton force correspond to 1 centimeter only. Then you have to draw the line and you have to mark the head of the vector. Okay, but keeping in mind the direction of the vector. So I am proceeding at an angle of 45-degree from east side to the north side. Okay, that I have to take care about the direction. Then I have to mark that 5 Newton force on this particular line, which is at an angle of 45-degree, which correspond to that my 1 Newton is corresponding to 1 centimeter. Okay, so 5 centimeter line over here, a line carrying the length of 5 centimeter. Okay, then what you have to do is you have to mark an arrow the head of the vector to represent it as a vector, it as a force vector. So this is your force vector, which is originating from the origin and terminating at this particular point wherever you are getting a 5 centimeter. Okay, so that's the graphical representation of the vector. Now let us talk about the component and the magnitude of the vector. Okay, so here I am just talking about the component and the magnitude itself, not going into the detail which we will be covering in the later slide itself. So if I talk about the component, then I can say that, okay, this was my coordinate system which I was having. Okay, so if I am marking any kind of vector, let us say my force vector over here, then the length of the following vector, this vector which is at an angle theta in this my coordinate system, this length, the head is falling on the x-axis as follow and the head is falling on the y-axis as follow, as you can see over here at a point P and at a point Q. Okay, so I can say that this particular guy, this particular length over here is the component of my F vector in the east direction, and this line OQ over here, OQ over here is the component of my F vector in the north direction. Okay, so this is the component in north direction, and this is the component in east direction. That's the components of the vector. So you can say that your vector F is made up of two component, component number 1 plus component number 2. Okay, now let us talk about the magnitude of the vector. Now if you apply Pythagoras theorem to this triangle O P, let us say that this point is R. So if you apply the Pythagoras theorem to this guy O, P and R, then you can say that the length of the vector square is equal to RP square plus OP square, where RP and OP are the appropriate components. RP is component number 2 and OP is component number 1, which is component along the east axis over here. Okay, so this L square, if taken root, I can say that it will boils down to the following expression, and I can say that this L is nothing but the magnitude of the vector. Okay, now the magnitude of the vector is represented by a modulus sign, and in between you put your vector over here. Okay, so that's how we represent our vector magnitude mathematically. Okay, you can assign a scalar number to it because it's a scalar quantity. Okay, the magnitude is a scalar. For example, let us say that I'm assigning a alphabet f to it. Okay, now let us talk about angle in between two vector. So just note the following point, that to find the angle in between two vector, you have to join them tail by tail. For example, let us have this vector over here, a vector, which is at an angle 30 degree with respect to our x-axis, and b vector, which is an angle 30 degree but in the clockwise direction with respect to x-axis. Now you want to find the angle in between both of them, so you have to join them tail by tail. So this is my x-axis, this is the common tail which I am having, this is my a vector which is an angle 30 degree, this is my b vector which is at an angle 30 degree. So the angle in between both of the vector is coming out to be 60 degree. You can do it with a and c also, or you can do it the same thing with b and c also as a great exercise. Now let us talk about the angle in between these two kind of vector as you are seeing over here. Now you know that in this case a is running in the rightward direction, b is running in the upward direction, but head and tail are joining over here. So what you can do is you can extend this vector a, you can extrapolate this vector a as follow. So this was the vector a, this was the vector a I was having, this was the vector b I was having. So what I can do is I can extrapolate this vector a, I can extend this. Okay, so that's my vector a again, it is running in this direction. So now you can see over here that instead of this as a vector, I'm having this as my vector a, I've extrapolated it. Okay, so this is my vector a, it is joined with my vector b by this common tail over here, and whatsoever angle I'm having over here is my angle theta. Okay, now you can observe that this angle theta is greater than that of 90 degree itself. Now let us talk about the types of vectors. So there are few types of vector: zero vector, unit vector, co-initial vector, equal vector, negative vector, free localized vector, parallel vector, collinear vector, non-collinear vector, and then the coplanar vector. But among which only few are more important. So the important ones are negative vector, equal vector, collinear vector, co-initial vector, coplanar vector, unit vector, and the zero vector only. Okay, so we'll be discussing about only these vectors. Okay, because these are most important from physics point of view itself. Now let us start with the zero as a hero guy. So zero is a zero vector, it's nothing, it neither having any kind of magnitude nor having any kind of direction itself, so it's a zero vector. Negative vector, now you know that your vector a vector is a vector which is running in a specified direction. Okay, so I'm saying that okay, this is my a vector, it is running in a specified direction. My negative a vector is a vector which is running in the direction opposite to that of my positive vector itself. For example, if I'm saying that minus a vector, then I can say that my minus a vector will be having the same magnitude as that of the a vector itself, but it will be running in the direction opposite to that of my a vector itself. Okay, both of them will be having same magnitude. Okay, same magnitude but opposite direction, now let us talk about equal vector, because I have discussed about the components of the vector. The equal vector, let us say we are talking about two vectors over here, a vector and b vector. Both of the vector can be equal vector if and only if the components are equal. First thing is components must be equal, then they must be having same magnitude, and third one is that they must be having same direction. Okay, so two vectors namely a and b are the equal vector if they are having same components, they are having same magnitude, and they are having same direction. Okay guys, now let us talk about the collinear vector. So if you are saying the vectors are being collinear, then you can express one vector into the form of another. So let us take an example, pretty much simple example of a vector a vector and a b vector again. So if you are saying that both of the vector are collinear, then you can say that my a vector can be expressed as follow: lambda b vector, that I will be getting my A vector back if I multiply my B vector with a certain constant lambda over here. Let us take an example. Let us take that my A vector is having a component 1 as 5, component 2 as 5, and let us say that my B vector is having as a component 1 as 1 and having a component 2 as 1 itself. Okay, so as you can see over here, if I multiply a 5 by my vector B itself, if I multiply a 5 by a vector B itself, I will be getting my vector A back. Okay, so I can say that both of the vector over here are collinear vector because I am able to get my vector A back after multiplying 5 with my vector B over here. Okay, now co-initial vector are those vectors which are originating from the same point. Okay, for example, this A, B, C, as you can see over here, A, B, C all are originating from a single same point, so I can say that they are my co-initial vector. Coplanar vector are those vectors which lie in the same plane itself. Now if you don't have any knowledge about the plane, then you can see this example, you can observe this example. So this table is representing your plane. Okay, you put two pens over here, so this is my first pen, this is my second pen. Okay, so your pen is having a pen cap and it is having a body. So your pen cap representing a arrow, body is representing the body of the arrow itself. Okay, so henceforth you can say that because both of the vector, namely A vector and B vector, I have put on the table on the same plane, they are coplanar vector. Co means same, planar means plane, so vector on same plane are called as coplanar vectors.